Most of the aspirants again missed what to write, like seawater intrusion in the coastal aquifers is a major concern in India. So a statement is being given to you, and that statement highlights the overall background of the question. Actual question is, what are the causes of seawater intrusion? What are the causes? सी वाटर इंट्रूजन तो हो रहा है, दैट इज अ मेजर कंसर्न इन इंडिया, दैट इज अ स्टेटमेंट. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग व्हाट आर द कॉजेज ऑफ सी वाटर इंट्रूजन एंड व्हाट आर द रेमेडियल मेजर्स टू कम्बैट दिस हजार्ड. क्वेश्चन एक है, लेकिन उस क्वेश्चन को दो पार्ट में रखा गया है, लाइक इट इज व्हाट आर द कॉजेज ऑफ एंड व्हाट आर द रेमेडियल मेजर्स टू कम्बैट दिस हजार्ड. नाउ मोस्ट ऑफ द एस्पिरेंट्स जो मेरी नजर में आए हैं, व्हाट द मिस्टेक, द वेरी मेजर मिस्टेक दे हैव कमिटेड इज दैट दे वेंट ऑन राइटिंग अबाउट कोस्टल एक्वाफर्स. उन्हें लगा कि कोस्टल एक्वाफर क्वेश्चन है तो दे शुड राइट इलैबोरेटिवली अबाउट कोस्टल एक्वाफर्स. दे विल राइट लिटिल बिट ऑफ फीचर्स ऑल्सो, नॉट मच. बट अगर आप इफ यू आर राइटिंग अबाउट कोस्टल एक्वाफर्स और अगर इसको एक्सप्लेन करने में इफ यू आर डिवोटिंग 60 और 50 वर्ड्स, then certainly you won't be able to justifiably write about the causes and way forward. Remedial measures मतलब way forward पूछा गया ये. तो the question was very simple, but the problem was that we often feel कि question में अगर ये keyword है, like most of the people will tell you कि keyword से focus करना है. The actual keyword is coastal aquifers. So and geography related question है, तो what most of the aspirants will do, they will go on writing about coastal aquifers. शुरुआत में they will start giving the introduction, and after introduction they will go on elaborating 50-60 words. The problem comes is that with those 50-60 words you won't be able to write a proportionate answer which is contextually relevant. So this thing we need to be very much careful. To write an answer, the first thing that the introduction that you will write, in that introduction you could have simply given a definition of coastal aquifers, like coastal aquifers are geological formations that can help store fresh water, and they are located near the shoreline. Like 10-15 sentences mein, in one sentence you gave a definition of coastal aquifers, and then you should write one sentence that the coastal aquifers are facing the challenge of seawater intrusion. अब seawater intrusion क्या है? Like saline water entering into the fresh water. तो जो पीने लायक पानी है, that is also getting spoiled because fresh water है and that saline water is entering, and that is called seawater intrusion. So what you should do in the introduction actually is that one sentence on coastal aquifers, and then you connect it with the challenge. The challenge is of सी वाटर इंट्रूजन. तो जो चैलेंज है सी वाटर इंट्रूजन का, उसको लिखा हमने. तो व्हाट यू डिड इन द इंट्रोडक्शन इज you define coastal aquifers and you also wrote about the challenges, the major challenge that is being seawater intrusion. This has to be very brief, very crisp, nearly around 25 to 30 words. अगर आप ये करते हैं, that is the perfect introduction. But इतना करने के बाद most of the aspirants, what they will do, as I highlighted earlier, they will go on elaborating coastal aquifers. They will write the areas, the regions, the basic features, which is certainly not required. Question is not asking you to elaborate or write on coastal aquifers. So after this introduction comes the body part. The body will be having two parts. First is causes. Now here comes some requirement to have some basic concepts. What could be the causes? So you should understand this way. There's something called hydraulic gradient. So this hydraulic gradient, like you consider this way कि suppose there is a beaker of water and there is another beaker of water. If both are connected to certain pipes, so the level of both the level of water in both the beakers will be same, equal. If in any case the level of water decreases in this beaker, then water from here will come and will make the level of water in both the beakers equivalent. This is just I am giving a brief idea how this hydraulic gradient works. So in coastal aquifers, suppose aquifer located in coastal region, here it is sea water and here it is fresh water. So if fresh water is getting extracted more, then the level of fresh water drops, and when this level of fresh water drops, the seawater intrusion happens. This is the overall concept. इतना लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है आपको आंसर में, बिकॉज अगर आप इसको लिखेंगे तो दैट विल सर्टेनली बी गोइंग टू ईट अप मोस्ट ऑफ योर वर्ड्स. बट इसको आप एक पिक्टोरियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन करके, पिक्टोरियल एक इमेज बना करके आप इसको रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते थे. दैट वुड हैव बीन वेरी मच यूजफुल. So this is something related to hydraulic gradient. So the major cause responsible for this coastal seawater intrusion in coastal aquifer is over extraction of fresh water. We are extracting fresh water a lot, and to balance the hydraulic gradient, seawater intrusion is happening. So whatever causes you are writing, most of the causes will be related to extraction of fresh water from coastal aquifers. So what could be the very basic causes? For example, you can write industrial areas. So industrial regions are quite located in the coastal areas, industrial hubs of India. So seawater extraction is happening for this. Then you could have written like agricultural practices which are like not that sustainable. This could also be one of the reasons. And no regulation on borewells. तो borewells वगैरह पे कोई regulation नहीं है, तो fresh water extraction is happening. But question is asking, since what are the causes? So you need to list out, and जब भी आप list out करें तो you should always connect it with the hydraulic gradient, because question is asking what are the causes of seawater intrusion. But अगर आप सिर्फ ये लिखेंगे तो this will only talk about extraction of fresh water. तो आपको हर केस में बताना पड़ेगा, या आप शुरुआत में एक लाइन लिख दें कि ड्यू टू दिस फ्रेश वाटर एक्सट्रैक्शन, दिस हाइड्रोलिक, टू मेंटेन हाइड्रोलिक बैलेंस, हाइड्रोलिक ग्रेडियंट, दिस सी वाटर इंट्रूजन इज हैपनिंग, एंड देन यू रोट अबाउट दी 2 or 3 causes आपने बता दिए. सो दैट वुड हैव एक्चुअली वर्कड टू राइट अ डिसेंट आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन. Second part is way forward. Question is asking about remedial measures. What are the remedial measures? तो way forward, तो जैसा मैं हमेशा कहता रहता हूँ, I keep saying, repeating this, that whenever you are writing way forward, what are the challenges you are identifying, just write opposite to that challenges, that will work as your way forward. तो अगर आप इंडस्ट्रियल फ्रेश वाटर एक्सट्रैक्शन हो रहा है तो सबसे बढ़िया वे फॉरवर्ड आप बता सकते हैं कि इट हैज टू बी लाइक रेगुलेशन ऑफ फ्रेश वाटर एक्सट्रैक्शन, आप ये बता सकते थे. देन यू कुड हैव रिटन अबाउट सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस, है कि नहीं, सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस, ये भी एक बता सकते थे. यू कुड हैव रिटन अबाउट रेगुलेटिंग लाइसेंसिंग बोरवेल्स बता सकते थे. वेरी मेजर वे फॉरवर्ड, जब भी आपको वे फॉरवर्ड लिखने को कहा जाए, राइट अबाउट अवेयरनेस. Generating awareness is always a very good way forward. Doesn't matter what kind of challenges you are highlighting. So इस तरीके से you wrote, and एक एक point लिखने के बाद you just connect it that how it is going to help in preventing or checking sea water intrusion. Because ultimately क्या होगा कि आपका fresh water extraction you will control it, and as a result sea water intrusion will happen. और भी एग्जांपल दे सकते थे आप. एक चैलेंज, आप एक वे फॉरवर्ड भी दे सकते थे, डिसैलिनाइजेशन प्लांट्स, कि भैया ऑलरेडी तो हो ही गया है, सी वाटर इंट्रूजन हो रहा है, लोगों को पीने का पानी का ढंग का नहीं मिल रहा है कोस्टल रीजन्स में. यू कैन हैव डिसैलिनाइजेशन प्लांट्स, लाइक आपने ऐसा प्लांट बनाया कि जो सी वाटर है उनको फ्रेश वाटर में कन्वर्ट किया ताकि पीने योग्य पानी बन सके. तो दिस इज द वे टू राइट एन आंसर. जस्ट इंश्योर दैट दिस एक्चुअल कॉन्सेप्ट अगर आपने लिख दिया एक लाइन तो अच्छी बात है, अदरवाइज अगर आपने इमेज ही बना दिया, that would have beautified and acted as a value addition to your answer. But no need to write about features of coastal aquifers, no need to devote much words to them because the question is only of 150 words. Then at the end you write a conclusion. Your conclusion could be very simple, that seawater intrusion in coastal aquifers is an emerging challenge. It is a matter of life and livelihood to the coastal communities, and the authorities need to work proactively to check this hazard. ऐसे करके एक सिंपल सा आपने कंक्लूजन दे दिया. मेक श्योर दैट यूजुअली हम क्या करते हैं, वेरी ऑफन आई कम टू नोटिस दिस ऑल्सो, दैट पीपल फील दैट कंक्लूजन कैन बी द वे फॉरवर्ड. Actually, the question is clearly asking you to write way forward. So it is not that you will write way forward as a conclusion in one sentence, because if you are doing that, you are certainly missing the proportionate stuff that I keep highlighting. तो अगर क्वेश्चन को कॉन्टेक्चुअल डिमांड में इंसर्ट करके अगर आंसर अच्छे से लिखना है और क्वेश्चन का 2 पार्ट है, तो certainly you should devote decent number of words and space to this way forward, and conclusion has to be separate. A one sentence conclusion that can summarize your entire idea of your answer or entire whatever points you have highlighted in your answer. So this is one of the things, that do not mix up, do not write way forward as a conclusion, particularly when the question is specifically asking you to write way forward. अगर क्वेश्चन वे फॉरवर्ड पूछ ही रहा है, तो उस केस में आपको वे फॉरवर्ड अच्छे से आपको प्रोपोर्शनेट तरीके से बताना पड़ेगा, by devoting ample amount of words and ample space. So this was all about this question, very basic question, but certainly what is required in this question is some conceptual awareness was required. आपके पास कुछ basic concepts होने चाहिए थे, and obviously writing in the writing on required parameters, meeting the contextual demand of the question. See you in next session.